Maiden, spin your circle white, weave a web of shining light. Stag and hawk, bear and wolf, bind us as one. Mother, spin your circle red, weave a web of glowing thread. Earth, air, fire and water, bind us as one. Wise ones, spin your circle black, weave the wisdom that we lack. Moonlight, sunlight, starlight, shimmer, bind us as one. Lady, spin your circle bright, weave your web of dark and light. Earth, air, fire and water, bind us as one. Bind us as one, do-we-do. Bind us as one. Ya toya shianikia saviatu isha sianote ilakashanose ilakia. Good day, good love, good light. It is once again in divine grace, gratitude, and honor as we bring to you and celebrate Goddess Friday. Today we share with you, I'm Wendy. If you're new to the channel, I'm Wendy Wolf. This is Dave Yellen, and together we are bringing together and as binding us as one, all of the elements, the idea of bringing together and embodying, empowering the divine goddess and God within us, the merging, the balancing of the divine feminine and masculine, bringing together as we explore our multidimensionality through light languages, through signs and symbols, through synchronicities, through our imaginations, through exploring our daily lives. How do we apply these higher dimensional frequencies? How do we apply incense and crystals and song and music and oracle and our relics and artifacts that tell stories in our imaginations that result in movies, television, stories, books, for we really all are a verse in the one multiversal song of the Symphony of Source. We are all our very unique verse, and there's so many layers to all of this and all of us, and so many ways that we, Dave and I, like to bring all of these elements to all of you. And so today we celebrate May Day and Beltane. And so we've got a lot of things to share with all of you today. We're very excited about the things and the synchronicities that have brought us to the, not only today, but the fact that today is a Goddess Friday. We're celebrating this goddess, this Beltane, and we're going to share with you a little bit of what we've discovered. And I've shared today, if you're familiar with my website and my Facebook page. So first of all, if you'd like to join us here in the Zoom room, you can join us here. You can find us on my on my website at languagesoflights.com on the Goddess Friday page tab, and the link to join the website, to join the Zoom room is in there on the website. And while you're there, if you'd like to explore If you're new to these Goddess Fridays, we've got all of the previous ones that you can link to of the Goddess Fridays right there on the website. Thank you, Dave. And future events that we're going to be posting. Keep an eye out for all kinds of new changes, subscriberships, new content that we're going to be sharing as we're inspired and guided to. And so there's lots of new things that are going to be giving birth. And so this is all today also about rebirth, giving birth, the midway point between spring and the beginning of summer, the celebration of May Day, Beltane, the fire goddess. And so all of the synchronicities that led to today, I wanted to say hi to my friend Liney. Thank you, Liney, because she was really part of the inspiration behind this. And I wanted to share with all of you just a little bit the synchronicities in just a moment. So with that said, if you'd like to join the Zoom room, please do. The link to join is on the website on there. And please do join in. And we do ask that everyone keep your mics muted while you're joining the room and while you're in the room, and you have the opportunity to speak and share, bring your experiences, your light languages, your symbols, your oracle cards, your crystals, your relics, your artifacts. We encourage people to wear and dress the way that the day inspires you. Today, we're inspired by flowers and feathers and springtime. On my Facebook page, I did share things today about Beltane and what it means, what the celebration is. And I'll be sharing little bits of that with you as well today. Hi, Beverly. Thanks for joining us today. So good to see you on this first day of spring here. And on Beltane, first day of May, excuse me. And so I wanted to also remind everybody or share with everybody today. Today's the 1st of May. And it just so happens that today's date, 5/1/2020, equals 10, which equals 1. So we've got a 1st of May today on a 1 day. And if you're familiar with my channel, and if you're not, these are the sacred symbols from Sirius brought to us through Bashar by Daryl Inca. And if you know if you've been familiar with my channel, thank you so much for all of your support, your love, your kindness, your comments. I've got some comments that I want to share with all of you. Every time we do one of these every week, we look so forward to your sharing your experiences of what you take away from these Fridays and how you apply them and how the synchronicities in your life are unfolding, and how when you share that with us, and how when you share your dreams, how we're meeting in our dreams. And so for years now, I've had my channel now for a little over 5 years. So I've got over 1,000 videos for all of you to check out anytime. Lots of information, channeling, songs, while you're on my website. If there's any services that might interest you, please do contact us. You can contact me on the contact page on the website as well. It goes right to my email. And there's, so you can contact me anytime and say if you're interested in private sessions or symbols that I can create just for you to help you open up your multidimensionality, as well as creating very specific videos just for you, audio recordings, video recordings, tapping into your energy, and oracle readings, light language activations. Many people are new to light languages and they're curious about it. I'm speaking them. I don't understand it. My kids are speaking them. Many of you, which I wanted to share too, many of you have been sharing with me very recently about your own children speaking light languages. I'm very, very excited to invite all of you, if you so desire, to bring your children and speak light languages with us, to share your experiences with you and your children speaking them, if you're curious about it, if they are, to let them know that they're not alone, that this is part of the next wave of channeling and getting ready for our next wave of visitors and children. And so that's something that we also explore here, is our ET connections, our angel connections, the God and goddesses within us, how we represent that in our archetypes every day, how Dave and I apply that in our own lives. And through these symbols, today's number 10 is relate and number 1 is center. So the message today from our Syrian guides, and through also many of information that we have been receiving about Dave and I, as I've been exploring these last few years, and these synchronicities with meeting Dave, and the correlation between Hebrew and light languages, and the beginning of language itself. The beginning of language when it began as light and then was transmitted into symbols and letters and an alphabet as we know it. And so we explore all of these avenues and invite all of you to explore that with us, and invite you to share your information as well. And so today I wanted to share these with you, as if you're new to the channel, that I had asked Dave to take the Syrian sacred circuits, which are available to anybody online. You can see them. I've got links to them in many of my videos where I talk about them. You can find them on Pinterest and on Google. Just look up Serious Sacred Circuitry. And also you can find many of these links to nbashar.org. And so when these were brought to me, I was guided to bring them to all of you and to share them with all of you and how I've used them. And so I was inspired recently to have Dave translate them into also Hebrew and the number associated with it for an additional language of light transmission, if you will. And so today, centering and relating. We're relating to each other in new ways that we've never been asked to before. And we're also being asked to center ourselves in ways we've never centered ourselves before. So I wanted to invite all of you to center yourselves with us today. Relax. We have our coffee today. Today's a coffee day. Sometimes we're bringing tea. We always have water. Remember that your water is programmable. It's something science already understands. We can apply music to water. We can apply music to our bodies. We can apply light language to our bodies. We are a beautiful mosaic structure of crystalline consciousness that changes every moment, moment by moment. And we're always creating billions of realities moment by moment based upon what we put out in our vibration. And so Dave and I, like to elevate our vibration and share that vibration with all of you in the ways that are inspired and that we're inspired. So I wanted to begin also by saying hello and happy birthday to all the May birthdays. I've got a lot of my family coming up, so thanks to all of you May Day birthdays. We're going to be celebrating, talking about May Day today as well. So I've got a string of birthdays in my family, so happy birthday to all of you in my family. Most of them are starting next week. So happy birthday to all of you. And I know the astrological signs are, a little bit different for the beginning of May and so I believe we've already moved into Taurus, if I'm not mistaken. So and I'm actually a Taurus rising. So I have a Taurus rising sign, and I'm also a double fire sign of Sagittarius and Leo. And so today's about fire and the fire goddess. And so that was one of the things we wanted to talk about too. So I want to see what's going on out there in the chat and say hi to everybody. As soon as I can find my glasses and see what I'm reading. So come on in. I wanted to say hi to Beverly and Florentine. Hey, Florentine, I'm so glad to see you guys in the room. And hey, Daniel, Jody. Hi, hey, Jody, just wanted to let you know I've been thinking about you. Hop in if you can. She said, Beverly says, yep, it's May Day here in England as well. And blessings from Sweden. Hey, Dahlia. I love letting you guys, when you let us know where you're from, because I have a globe, thanks to Dave, I have this globe that lights up. And so every morning when I turn it on, although I realized I didn't turn it on today, I hear that, let's light up the globe. How can we light up the globe today? How can we light up the earth? What can I do today in my own passion and excitement, sharing with all of you my joy and excitement and passion and our joy and excitement, and even our regular, how we spend our days, and how incense and candles and all these things play a really huge part in our day, and how every day is sacred to us. And so I love hearing where you guys are from, because it helps us connect, especially when I'm spinning my globe around and I know where you guys geographically are located. And I wanted to say, a lot of you guys have been friending me on Facebook, and I'm getting really excited because I'm seeing a lot of you were in the Fort Lauderdale, Miami area. And I'm seeing a lot of you from not only my hometown area in Illinois, north of Chicago, but also synchronistically right here in Florida. So if you guys are interested in being here with us, Dave and I, for one of these Goddess Fridays, please contact us on the website. Let us know. Let us know if you'd like to come visit and make an arrangement to hang out with us and sit in our throne and do one of these hangouts with us. And it doesn't even have to be on a Goddess Friday. It could be any day. So please do let us know that. We're always reaching out to all of you geographically as well. And even if you're just here to visit for a little while, let us know when you're in town that we can hang out, maybe go to dinner, just whatever strikes us up. Anything from wine to coffee to tea, so to water. We've got it all. So love the feathers. So one of the things, the feathers, you guys, was part of the inspiration for today. Is some of the things that I shared on Facebook that had to do with the synchronicities for today. Was that about, part of it was about feathers and the God and Goddess marrying, the marriage of the God and Goddess. And so that was part of the reason for the feathers, that we're both got the feathers and the flowers. And May Day is a thing, and it's a celebration, and it was really a male and female celebration. And I was hoping that Dave would fill us in a little bit about the May Day thing too. And that we've been exploring this and talking throughout the week, talking about how is it celebrated? And so why is it celebrated? Who is she? Who's the goddess of fire? And what is it all about? And how did it start? And so we were really excited about that. So that's with the flowers and because the guys actually it was part of the maypole and the dancing. And so
I got nothing.
Oh, you lie. So I want to say hi to everybody out there. She says, I love your throne. It elevated these beautiful gatherings an extra bit and made you two even more magical and beautiful. I love you guys so much. You guys are awesome. So yes, love you. Oh, Liney. Okay, Liney. All right. Okay, so you guys, I have to read this right now. So Liney, yes, I told her she was the inspiration for today. So Liney and I, Liney, my friend Liney, she's hanging out there. Hey girl. So she sends me a message the other day and she says she thinks that there's something special about today in Beltane, and that she was receiving a message and about the white swan, and that's something special about today, and that she might receive a special message. Well, it just so happened that if you've been watching me for a little while, you know that feathers and white feathers have been a symbol for me, for the white swan, the white magic, the idea of white light, the just shining, being our brightest, lightest self, and bringing this magic to the earth again. And it's not that it's ever been gone, but to open this magic again within us. And I've even done classes on white magic and angel, arising our angel and angelic selves, and how feathers from birds. We've talked about this in many of our Friday gatherings, many of my Wednesday gatherings. We've talked about feathers being symbols from our guides, from our angels. So it's so multi-layered. It's symbols from even our ET collectives that are supporting us and in ways that we can't even begin to imagine. When we listen to birdsong, when we hear these messages, when we use these animal archetypes as messengers and messages, when we listen, we understand, we connect. And so feathers is a part of that. And so when Lainey mentioned this, I was like, oh my gosh, that's one of the things that the white feather, the swan feather. And then we were talking about magic. But the funny thing is that she sent me a couple links about Beltane. And one of them was, and I was going to read it for you guys really quick, if you so indulge me. And it was talking about the white, here, hang on. It was talking about, I gotta find it. And I did post it on my site so you guys can follow along. Here it is right here. It's Beltane marks the return of the vitality and passion of summer. Another common focal point of the Beltane ritual is the cauldron, which represents the goddess, the Welsh goddess, and I hope I'm not mispronouncing this, oh, you guys help me. Credelad is connected with Beltane, often called the May Queen. She was the goddess of summer, flowers, and love. So I've got my summer dress with flowers, the colors I shared today on the page about what each color represents, the red, the purple, the yellow, the green, the flowers, the May Day pole, the ribbons, the whole celebration. So the irony and the irony, the synchronicity of it was, as I was reading the message from Liney, Dave was literally, so the photo that I posted on Facebook for today's hangout was of a cauldron burning. That is our cauldron that he was lighting at the very moment, you guys, I was reading that message from my friend Liney about the cauldron and about today and about Beltane and the message and about it being the fire goddess. He was lighting our cauldron that we had just bought, and was lighting it for the very first time ever while I was reading the message. And it wasn't just any old fire pit. Oh, no. It was a cauldron. That was the description. And that was when he bought it, was because it said, it's a cauldron. So therein was the inspiration for realizing today's Goddess Friday, it's May Day, it's represented by the fire goddess, the cauldron, and the actual, so I wrote this down too, because there's lots of other synchronicities with some of the gemstones as well. So I wrote down about the message from Liney and the cauldron as he was lighting it. The word Beltane itself is the Celtic god Bel, meaning the bright one, and the Gaelic word tane, meaning fire. So the bright one, the bright fire. And so it is the fire festival. And so it was very interesting how, as he's lighting it, and the languages of light, everything is a language of light. And how when we burn fire, we talk about how we loved fire as kids and how so many of us are drawn to fire. Why are we all drawn to fire? Why are so many festivals and rituals and ceremonies, why do they include fire? And I forgot to light the candles again and the incense behind us, but fire and incense and how it's all related, and how even today for Beltane, the incense is frankincense related, and the flower is lilacs. And right now up north, where I'm from in northwest Chicago, in May is when the lilacs begin to bloom. And it's one of my mother's favorites. It's one of my favorites. I used to grow lilacs when I lived up north. And there's something about the frequency of when we're smelling these plants, especially hyacinths and lilacs. They have a very high frequency. And when we smell them, it invokes something within us. As we've talked about before with incense, it's like the smoke to speak to God. And so even the fire and the smoke signals, and how Dave and I were talking about that, about the smoke signals, how smoke and candles and extinguishing candles, the idea is the smoke takes our wishes, our manifestations, our desires to heaven, to God, to taking our prayers to the heavens and knowing that they're done. It's done. And so all of this was, I was looking to see if there was anything else I wanted to mention about that, about the fire festival. Oh, and also with the idea that connecting with crystals and gemstones, also, that's something that we also talk about in the artifacts and relics, idea that when we're connecting with crystals and gemstones, that we're connecting with specific frequencies and energies of Mother Earth, of Gaia. And each one, even when we wear them, of course, the gods, goddesses, queens, kings are all bejeweled, right? They're all we've got the crystals and the gems and the treasure chests and all of that idea of even the crowns were, covered in gemstones and emeralds and sapphires and rubies. And so we talk ruby's here. Even that, just the word ruby and the idea of connecting to a ruby gemstone initiated, I don't know what you would call her, but maybe another aspect of myself called Ruby, and she's quite a card. And so she's, so maybe she'll say hello one day. But so we were connecting with Ruby, but the May gemstone, the May birthstone, is emerald. And then today Beltane, and the color is primarily associated with May, and May Day is green, which is also the heart chakra color. And what's interesting that I was looking when I was checking out the emerald stuff today was that emerald is, of course, the color of spring. It's a symbol of rebirth and love. The heart chakra is green. And I didn't know this until I read it today, but the emerald is the rarest gemstone there is. Didn't know that. So, actually I forgot to grab ours, but that's okay. So Dave was inspired to get a little tiny little emerald, and it is just something about, is that the one that came in the oil?
I think so.
I think so. Like when they ship them in oil to, so is it like to protect them? And so, yeah, so it's very interesting. And so, but there's something about the energy of these crystals and gems. That's why we're drawn to them. And so, the other one was the sapphire. So and the funny thing about that is too, is I've got the sapphire ring and a like kind of a blue sapphire kind of stone bracelet here, which I've had many, many years. The sapphires too, you guys, if you're inspired, look this stuff up, the emeralds and the sapphires, because there's information for us all, like, data, downloads, frequency information about these stones. And sapphires has been something also that I've been like really connected to all of my life, and something about the star sapphire, but the sapphire also is a deep blue. And so, and that's one of our favorite colors. And it's also that the color of the sky, the water, that the connection to and again, well, see, this is something I always forget about too. Our blood is blue, peeps. Our blood is blue until it hits oxygen, then it's red. But isn't it funny that we always forget that our blood is actually blue inside our veins? There's something to be said for that. Blue is a very unique color in nature. Blue stands out, blue birds stand out, blue flowers stand out. So there's that something about the sapphire blue, that idea, that frequency, throat chakra, the throat chakra blue, the indigo eye, the third eye chakra, that indigo blue. So all of that is part of connecting with Gaia and Mother Earth. And when we're connecting with nature, we're understanding now that when we're connecting with nature, we're understanding more now than ever what light codes actually mean. Even Dave and I were talking about today about how fiber optics actually came about before we even understood a practical use for it. And then all of a sudden it became mainstream data transmission. So we didn't even understand at that time that information was light and light was information. Not really. We did, but we didn't, not in that way. So anyway, all of these synchronicities, I wanted to see if there, so Beltane is, so Fires of Bel is, Beltane is a Celtic word, which means fires of Bel. Bel is a Celtic deity, deity. It is a fire festival that celebrates the coming of summer and the fertility of the coming year. And the festivals are often tied in with the needs of the community. And isn't that what we're all going through right now? The needs of the community. What are the needs of the community right now? The global community. How are we connecting with each other and centering in with each other and relating to each other in ways that we haven't before? And so a lot of this today is almost I don't want to say a celebration of what's going on right now, also globally, but it kind of is in a way that this is a rebirth and a rebalancing, a true balancing of the God and goddess energy, the divine feminine and masculine, that's what this is all about. I was looking to see if I thought there was one more. Oh, here it is. Beltane celebrates the union of the goddess and the green man, the coming together of the male and female energies to create new life. light a Beltane fire. And one of the things too that I shared today on my Facebook, and this is just stuff I Googled, but how to celebrate today, and lighting a fire was one of them. Light a Beltane fire. Traditionally, fires were lit at Beltane. The word itself originates from the god Bel, meaning bright one, and the word meaning fire. So that is really the birth of the idea, not just the idea for today being, but it's so parallel and congruent with Goddess Friday. And I didn't even realize that this was an actual celebration of the fire goddess. So where do we want to go from here with the...
Well, I did also want to mention that when we started looking up May Day and how it's celebrated and how it is talked about as being started in Europe, what we actually found out was there's an Aztec ritual, which is, it's actually called the Danza de las Voladeras, which is where the chief and 4 other people, and it's Aztec, but I think it goes even older than that because it's still celebrated in areas that were known to be Maya populations. So the chief climbs up to the top of the pole and 4 other men climb up with him, and the chief does some prayers toward the 4 cardinal directions, and the 4 other guys sort of hang on a rope and swing around going down the pole. And typically also women may dance on the ground around while this is all happening. And it's also, there's a lot of different explanations as to what it all really is, but often the 4 guys swinging around represent the 4 elements, just like in the song you sang.
Oh, yes.
And they're often dressed as birds or eagles. It also represents seeds falling from the trees for fertility in the ground. And the chief that's on the top of the pole represents, I think it was a white fire dragon.
You know, you didn't even tell me that. And this morning, I swear, I got white dragon, white fire dragon. And didn't we talk about that a couple of weeks ago? The white dragon, did we pull the white dragon card? So, yeah. That's and I didn't even know that. See?
So there's all kinds of different things, but what I discovered, which I did not find on the internet, it was just by my looking up stuff with Wendy, was it seems like when the conquistadors came to Central America, a lot of things came back with them, and it was around that time that the maypole celebration started up in Europe. So of course the Aztecs were doing that long before, and there might be Maya tradition as well. But specifically, one of the things I wanted to say also was, in all the pictures that I found, they seem to be wearing a white shirt and red pants.
Yes.
And the chief has flowers on his head, which is
why he did that.
Feathers. Sometimes, you know, they have these special hats. So with yellows and very bright colors, like you would think from the Aztec period.
Yes, because they're their symbolism is very colorful.
Yeah. So this is my rendition of that sort of outfit. I'm not going to demonstrate swinging down the pole on video, but it is very interesting because the maypole dance, which is a derivative of that, because there are actually schools where the people in the villages go to learn how to climb the pole and do the dance.
It's a thing. I mean, it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing.
So of course, when the idea came to Europe, they probably didn't want to do the whole pole dance thing. So you know, they erect a pole with ribbons and stuff and dance around in a circle. So it's interesting how traditions get started, and a lot of the core basic information seems to get lost in the translation, like a
Yes,
telephone game
exactly.
that you used to play as a kid.
And isn't that the thing? See, this is what we're discovering as Dave and I start coming at all of these angles from all of this stuff. And I think we all understand this inherently anyway. Innately, it's within us that everything we're doing, all of this, I don't mean we, I mean we as humans, is all a representation of that. It's all of that. It's showing ourselves from all of these different angles. It's all the same thing, but from a different perspective. It really, I don't know how else. It's like everything comes back to, like you said, the telephone game. It originated somewhere and somehow migrated. Even the Santa Claus story, all of it is, there's threads of reality in all of these, and yet it has been so, I don't know, what do you want to call that? Just where you lose that, the lost in translation. And for a variety of reasons. But so I'm loving all of these synchronicities you guys are talking about too. So Amran, dude, hop in anytime. Love you. Good to see you. Thank you for showing up here. So he says, Amran says, Green Man ? Osiris. Well, if you guys have been watching us for a little while, you know how the connection with us and Osiris and Isis and the Egyptian goddesses and the relics, the actual physical relics that we have here in the house, representing that idea and embodying and empowering that idea of the Osiris energy and the Ankhs and the what else have we got over there? The staffs and all the, so and even simple things like we've got the Sphinx and representations of you know, the pyramids and all kinds of things to remind us of all of that. So and then Amran says Bel, or also another name is Osiris. And and then Jody says her candle's blue, and the first crystal she grabbed this morning was an emerald. She loves synchronicities. And then Lisa was talking. Hey, Lisa. Lisa was talking about the rituals of an indigenous tribe, and then she said that she had emeralds on her mind the other day. And yes, and that's true. That is absolutely true, that these rituals do signify a good crop. And that's one of the reasons why they did it, was for the good crop and fertility. Exactly, traditions getting morphed. And so it's interesting how what it kind of goes back and forth. Like, there was truth in all of these things, and yet they're represented it to us in archetypical form in gods and goddesses and superheroes and all the things that we talk about that too, about in superheroes, and talk about Wonder Woman and the Doctor Strange and Doctor Who and all these other things that we're all watching, Star Wars, and all of that is all of these different types of energies, symbols for all of us to remind ourselves of all of these stories are true. They're all reenactments, if you will, of things that are actually happening in the multiverse. And that we're constantly, because there's no separation to anything, and all that is the one is the all are the one, that's everything. We can connect to all this stuff. And by using crystals and relics and artifacts and watching TV and movies, the whole point of it is that's the why we do it. So we can do that. So we can connect to this stuff. So we can connect to our higher selves and understand who we are. And knowing ourselves is why we came. We exist and always will exist. And the only reason we exist is so we can know more of what we are and explore more of what we are. And to share that with each other and relate to each other. And by doing all of this, by collecting all of these things and sharing them with you, you guys sharing them with us, messages through the Oracle. I want to do the runes today too. I was reminded to do the runes today. I've not done runes with you guys yet. And this is something I've been wanting to do. Dave got me these runes. I just happened to mention one day, I don't know, something about wanting runes. And hadn't you already bought them? You had already bought them.
I bought them.
Tell the
I don't
story.
know. So I bought them
It was a long time ago.
before we met.
Before we met, right?
And I just, for some reason, mentioned to Wendy, I got these runes. And she says, oh my God, I always wanted to get these and I never got them. I said, well, these must be for you. And I just set them
And
aside.
he saved them.
And now they're runes.
I completely forgot. And so once we met and
I never shipped them to you. I
no,
kept them here
and he,
for
yes,
you.
and it was funny because it was kind of funny too because he never shipped them, and we were barely acquaintances really at the time, and it wasn't until after we met and really met and got to know each other and realized that there was something more to this. And then I moved in. Gosh, it's not even last November. And so for all of you who are new to all this, yes, just since last November, made a complete transition in my life and followed my heart and forget everything you ever knew about everything and realize that even this today is a representation of rebirth for all of us, and forgetting everything you ever believed that was not possible for you. So, and then when I moved in, I actually had completely forgotten about it. I can't remember at what point, and then you were like, the runes. I'm like, oh my God, I completely forgot about it. I completely forgot about them. So, so that was just another synchronicity. So there you go. And the fact that even, I'm tangled up, even the fact that you were guided not to ship them, is sometimes we're guided not to do things either for a particular reason. And maybe, obviously, that was one of the reasons, so that they could be delivered in person, go, oh my God, I forgot all about these. So yes, Amran, it has been a long time.
I never played with them without you.
And no, he didn't. He actually did not. Let's see. Osiris is a bit, Amran says, Osiris is amazing, by the way. If anyone needs silence and groundedness, he can be your hero. He is also called Lord of the Silence, which is very accurate about him. That's very funny. You said that too about silence, because that's a whole nother thing that I've been receiving about the silence and the space between the letters, things that we talked about last week a little bit with the Torah, and things that I've been receiving lately. Oh my God, you guys, the energy's been off the charts, off the charts. And I'm just, and this is not something that I do. If you're familiar with me and you're familiar with Bashar and you're familiar, I have always embodied that energy, that idea, sharing the sacred circuits, sharing the things that I've learned, my connections with Epsilon, Epiphany, and Eclipse, their oversoul energy, the information that I've been guided to share through the application of the information I've learned, and things that I've learned and wrote down 7 years ago I was sharing with him are things that Bashar is talking about today in his events. So Bashar.org, if you guys are, there's so much information that is now where we're seeing in linear idea coming to pass, if you will. And I'm not talking about just Bashar, but all of them, Cryon, all of the ones that that I was guided to, that have helped me in my, I say upliftment, I guess my ascension process. Awakening, listening to that information in this past Eye of the Needle event reinforced so many things for me. It validated things, but it was the message was, this is it, you guys, this is it. It's time to decide what you want. What do you want your world to be? This is it. Which earth do you want to, there's lots of versions of earth. Which one do you want to be on? And this is the time that we're being asked to step up. And so, and it was interesting because I will say that I kept hearing over and over again, 100 days, 100 days, 100 days. And this was before I even watched it. And then in his event, he mentioned that, well, we were at the peak, and actually it would be about 100 more days. He said about 3.5 more months. And so, which I was also telling Dave the other day, the first time he ever contacted me was on July 4th, 2018, 4th of July, which is Independence Day for here and us in the United States. So significantly, that will be Independence Day will be, I have felt and been getting from my guides that will be about the time where we will be independent from this, what's going on right now, and that we are going to come out on the other side of this completely different than we've ever been before. I have never had, that's never, so all of that was just reinforcing all of this information that I had already been receiving. So I want
Well, some of the advice that he gives is he highly recommends, and I say he, but I really mean the collective that's here to help us, highly recommends that to make it through the eye of the needle, that you drop your baggage.
Yep.
All things that
Everything.
do not serve, all old beliefs, all things that you think you need to forgive.
Stop making decisions from your past. Yes, to forgive. That was the forgive. Forgive yourself and forgive everybody. Just forgive, forget it, forgive.
So after you do all those things, it will be very easy for you to make it through the eye of the needle. And I'm laughing because we did the same thing.
At the same time, look at us.
Did not practice that.
No.
When you go through the little eye, you've left all your baggage behind. And of course, you will feel independent.
Exactly.
Of all those things that you no longer need, have, serve.
So if you can, I would highly recommend that you guys check it out. It's it was very empowering. It was very in your face, like it's time. And so it has just reinforced that when it has reinforced, especially with Dave and I, and especially with me, there's no, you've got to follow the formula. The formula is simple. Follow your passion and your excitement and your joy as far as you can take it, moment by moment, without any insistence on any outcome. Without any insistence on any outcome, and take it as far as you can take it until you can take it no further, and then do it the next moment and the next moment, whatever that is. Whatever that is, walking outside, looking at the sky, having a cup of coffee, eating some decent food, calling a friend, kissing your lover, whatever it is, light a candle, light some incense, talk to the trees, whatever that is, it's time to step up now. And that leads to, so when we say without insistence on an outcome, that means if you are inspired to do something, write something, make something, paint something, start something, do something, do it for the sake of doing it in that moment, not for what you think it's going to get you, because by doing the thing that you love to do, all the other amazing things that you need in your life will happen automatically as long as you follow the formula. The formula has never changed, ever, never, never. Follow your excitement as far as you can take it, moment by moment, without any assistance on the outcome.
Any question you may have about what to do or what's going on, you could always think, go back to the formula, because that's the answer to everything.
And it is. It always is. Because if
are you following your highest joy? Why aren't you?
Why not? And whatever reason is, these are the reasons that we need to find out. We need to ask ourselves right now, what's the reason? What's the reason? What's the reason? Because we're realizing the reasons that we're telling ourselves are usually a bunch of BS anyway. Well, they always are, because they're not empowering. They're not empowering.
Don't say I don't know, because yes,
you do. Yes, you do. Okay. So these are the things that on a daily basis we explore. On a daily basis we're empowering and applying in our lives. And even again, doing readings for ourselves on, buying yourself an oracle deck, or just joining in these hangouts and raising your vibration, one person, you doing one small thing for yourself in celebration of the inner God and goddess within you, can affect millions more than one person, than many people in negative vibration. So this is one of the things that I wanted to reiterate with all of you. So I wanted to read to you a really awesome, now I love when you guys send me emails after, especially after private sessions. Sometimes people will send me emails months and years later, letting me know that the information they received even at that time, now they see how it's applying in their lives. And sometimes it happens immediately. Sometimes it's months, sometimes it's years later. So I wanted to reinforce that a lot of the stuff, these activations, these higher wisdom, higher learning, continues to help us see more and more of ourselves, that we may be able to see more and more of ourselves. And as you guys share, when we become more, all of us, when we all become more aware of our synchronicities in our lives and sharing these synchronicities, synchronicities are the guiding, driving force that when you're in the flow of your highest joy and excitement, synchronicities all will unfold to bring you what you need, exactly what you need, when you need it, even if it's, oh, I need a pen and it's right there. Even if, oh, everything we need is provided in that moment we need it, provided that we're not having any resistance, meaning resistance by not following our passion moment by moment, whatever that means. So as long as we're always doing that, then the synchronicities are the signpost, guideposts that we're on the right track, that we're in harmony with our higher mind. Our higher mind, again, sends us visions. They send us things that we say, what is my purpose in life? And then we get an inspiration to look something up or go outside or whatever. But if you don't follow it, that is your higher self telling you, this is something you might want to explore because it's going to excite you. Don't insist on there being a reason or an outcome for the reason. Just look it up, just do it, and it will reveal itself. So a lot of times we will hesitate to start a project because we think, okay, if I start this, I have to have this end result. Otherwise, why bother? Well, it's the starting of the project that it may have nothing to do with the project itself. Say you decide you want to write a book and you start writing, and all of a sudden it takes you in a different research. And all of a sudden you realize by writing the book, it wasn't about writing the book at all. It was about where the book writing thing was supposed to take you. Where is it supposed to lead you? That's following your highest excitement as far as it can take it. It's understanding that will always be the feeding, that will always be the perfect timing for you. It will always be the right thing for you in that moment, even if you don't understand where it's supposed to lead. So by you guys sharing these synchronicities, it reinforces with me, with all of us, it reinforces when we share these synchronicities with each other, it reinforces with each other that we're on the right track. It reinforces with each other that, oh my God, I have these synchronicities too. That makes me feel so much better because now I know I'm on the right track. That even though I don't need, how exciting is it to not know where the next thing's going to lead you? Why would you want to know everything right now? That's the excitement and the joy of expansion and synchronicity and doing things spontaneously, is to generate that energy, to spark that energy that it may not have anything to do with that thing at all. You may be guided to look at something on YouTube. You may be guided to listen to a particular song. How many of you guys and how many of us have said, oh my God, do your guides talk to you by sending you songs? Well, sure they do. All the time. All the time. Sometimes a song, even a love song, if you look at it as your higher self or God or a source, whatever you want to call that, talking to you, sometimes you think it's a love song about two people. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's your higher self or your angels, your guides saying these things to you. So if it helps us to understand things from a completely different perspective when we're sharing these. So what I wanted to share with you, this was an actual live comment, a public comment, in the live chat from last week. And this was from Brielle Pendragon. And she says, hi guys. First, when you talked about the antenna, came an image to my mind about the algae's rune and means you can look for it. The symbol itself could represent the upper branches of, and I don't know how to pronounce this, the YGGDRASIL. You guys can read the comment. It's in the live comment from last week, but a flower opening to receive the sun. So willow is the next rune in the further of all, after all, the further after all. The antlers of the elk, the Valkyrie and her wings, or the invoker stance common to many of the world's priests and shamans. Okay, I understand. In a very contemporary context, the symbol could be powerfully equated to a satellite dish reaching toward the heavens. And this was in response to a symbol that we were talking about last week. That the symbol could be powerfully equated to a satellite dish reaching toward the heavens and communicating with the gods and other entities through this and other worlds. I find this metaphor particularly useful due to my embrace of technology, but if it doesn't work for you, use older interpretations. And we talked about Thor and Viking cosmology. And then when we were talking about the animals, I was doing my dishes and looking around and saw 2 frog statues in the window. I almost never noticed them. And I looked for a frog tarot card and it was written, cleaning the house and getting rid of emotional baggage. So there, while she's washing dishes, notices these frogs and then decides to look for the frog tarot card, following her excitement without any hesitation or insistence upon an outcome. And it's written, cleaning the house and getting rid of emotional baggage, just like we were just talking about. Ha ha. And I was doing the dishes and cleaning my kitchen. So Frog Collective is also here, and the runes want to speak too, which was why I was guided to do the runes this week. Where did I leave off? And yesterday I found a silver necklace. It's a bear pendant with an amber stone. And we talked about the mama bear. So Brielle's been watching successively these hangouts because we talked about the bear and mama bear and the bear collective and you don't mess with mama bear and that whole idea. And funny because, I was watching Grey's Anatomy the other day with my mom and watched an episode where they were healing the wounds of a guy who was attacked by a bear because he was touching the baby bear and everyone was saying, you just don't mess with mama bear. And I was like, you can't make this stuff up. That's what she says. Love and big hug, guys. So she says she couldn't enter the Zoom room, but she used all of her Lord of the Rings stuff and was connecting with Gandalf and also likes to connect with, am I saying that right? Legolas and Arwen. Oh, and my Lord of the Rings necklace is an oak seed, a silver oak seed, and it's written small acts of kindness and love in it. And I wanted to tell you something. Remember, we were talking about Saint Germain. Well, I found out Saint Germain is also Merlin and King Arthur. We've been talking about Merlin and Merlin energy and for a couple weeks now. And so this will spawn a whole nother thing, you guys, about Merlin and King Arthur. And in one of my dreams, we were studying time. So it's so cool. I wanted to share this too. So Dave printed it out for me. It's just a printout of the actual comment, but this is one of the things I really like doing too, is reading the comments, sharing them with you guys. Because it shows us that there's this continuity with, even though there is no such thing as continuity, but we're designing continuity for each other to bind us as one, to remind us that we're already bound as one, that we're not really separated from anything, that we are one family, that we are the earth, the air, the fire, the water, the ether. The ether is the white light that connects all things, and everything else is a reflection of that. So connecting, and we talked about, and actually we may talk about that next week. We may talk about that idea of the earth, air, fire, and water, the elements, the movie, The Fifth Element. We've talked about that before. It's been in my mind's eye also. When I'm speaking light languages, I seem to connect with something about that idea. So something that we've been talking about it, and part of the relics and artifacts that Dave was collecting were things that had to do with that movie. And the idea of the fifth element is, well, she was what? Pure white love, right? Pure white light.
She was
the
what was the term they used? Supreme being.
The supreme being. She was the supreme being. So
to bring together all the other four elements.
And that's how I feel like all of us are this white light, all of us, and what we're doing. We are the supreme being, bringing the white light by bringing the elements together. And somehow I feel like we are the elements, all of us. We are the physical representation of those things, of the earth, the air, the fire, the water, and bound by the ethers of love.
So I wanted to say hi to everybody here in the Zoom room, but also in YouTube land and in all the realms.
In all the realms.
That might be watching.
Physical and non-physical. Absolutely. And thank you for reminding us about that, because it's something that I do often say at the beginning of these Hangouts is that when you guys come and you're watching this, it doesn't matter when, because everything's now. When you're watching this and bringing your energy, you're bringing your team, your guides to the information. When we're here bringing this information, it's a culmination of our guides, his guides, my guides, your guides, the emissaries of the Light Collective that came to me all those years ago and said to me, we are the representation of all of these realms, dimensions, frequencies, the representations of physical and non-physical beings, of ETs, angels, elements, elementals, the Fey realms, the idea of unicorns. Oh my God, unicorns is so big in our reality. In our physical reality here, unicorns, and I've got the unicorn oracle deck too. So I guess I should pull a card from that today too. So
AJ has unicorn poop.
That's true, he does. Yeah, he really does. It's in a jar. It's like, you can buy it, buy it. I guess you can like Amazon it, right?
Yeah.
Or something, or Google it or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can actually buy it. Oh, and then we actually have, and reindeer food and stuff like that. So there's something Amazon, something else. I mean, I'm sorry, something else reindeer. I mean, unicorn. There's something else. There was something else. Anyway, I don't remember. There's two unicorn things, and I have a unicorn statue out there. So unicorns for many of us have been really, and I've actually shared a unicorn image yesterday, I think on Facebook, on Wendy Wolf on my page, and Languages of Lights on Facebook. My sister sent it to me. Hey girl, if you're watching. And it was a picture of a unicorn. So many of us lately are connecting with that unicorn archetypal energy a lot. And that rainbow, and we talked about that, the unicorn and the rainbow song. So
a herd of unicorns.
Oh yeah,
is called
a blessing. A herd of unicorn is called a blessing. So I thought that was very, very interesting that we were looking that up. And so we were trying to figure out then, did we decide to call the unicorn herd a blessing, or did the unicorn collective say, well, we're a blessing when we come and show ourselves to you? So whichever way you want to look at it, as Bashar says, the belly still gets rubbed, whichever way you look at it. So speaking of the belly of the doggy. So, and then Jody shares that it's 1:11 there. So at 1:11 her time. So that's another thing that is a huge synchronicity with all of us as the time and the 111 and the 1111. And that was another thing that I was reminded about too, you guys, is that we were talking about Independence Day, and that date has been in my mind for several weeks now about being significant in that it's an 11-11-11 vibration day, being 7-4-2020, 7-4 being 11, and then 2020 11 and 11. So it's 11-11-11, and then the 33 energy, the 33-33. We've been talking the last few days very big on this idea of the 30. Look it up, look it up, look it up. Number 33, the 33rd parallel, but look up the significance and the meaning of the number 33. We've been exploring that a lot this week, and it gave us so many interesting, significant synchronicities that were undeniable to what we've been going through, all of us collectively, us individually, us as in a relationship. All of it was so very, very intricately woven into what's going on collectively with all of us. And this idea of 33, the 33 vertebra, the God chakra, at the back of the base of the C1. Today's the number 1, you guys. C1, center, C1, the C1 vertebrae. There is a spot, we're just above that we don't talk about a lot. We collectively, spiritually, that has been ignored, but you can look it up about the God chakra, the Bindu chakra, I believe. I think it's called Bindu. Look it up. Somebody look it up.
The 33
the
in
33
the Hebrew Bible has lots of significance.
Lots.
And you could easily just Google that. 33 times that things are mentioned. It refers to the rainbow.
Yes, that's right.
It refers to, I think it even refers to Jesus at some point.
Yes.
About things, but there's a handful
of
things.
Of stuff.
Excuse me.
And as we started exploring it, it just became
beautiful.
Hey girl, yeah, I said hey to her. Hey girl, hop in anytime you can. You too, Jody, if you guys can hop in. And even it was funny because even it reminded me as Temple Beautiful hopped in, I was reminded of a synchronicity about lapis and lapis lazuli, and how we've been talking about lapis and how lapis has been used in Egyptian times, and how my own lapis lazuli ring that I've been wearing, and I've had this for decades, and I got it at it was like a psychic fair, but it was a woman who I went to have my very first psychic reading, and it was north of Chicago many years ago. And there was some information that she had given me, and I had bought this ring at that event, and me wearing. And at the time when I got it, I remember hearing about how lapis connects us to things, and it connects us to higher things. And then I started hearing things about connecting to Archangel Michael, and how the blue color is significant. And even in the Hebrew, blue and white is extremely significant. And even the King David throne came in blue. I mean, that's just so, and one of our favorite colors is blue. And actually the background is blue. This blue energy, also about the throat chakra and the connecting of the speaking of the heart and throat and the third eye. And so, and I wanted to say too, so the lapis, the funny thing is that the runes I wanted to mention, I'm going to read a little bit to you guys too about the runes. The runes themselves are also blue. So if you can see the stones, the color of the stones, and I don't know what stones, what this is, I don't know if it even says in there, but if you guys can see it, it's actually a blue, and like a blue with gold, and then and the rune letters are in gold as well. But the stones themselves are mixtures of blue and gold, and looks like blue and gold and green and silver. That's very interesting. Each one is a little bit different. And so
doesn't say.
It doesn't say. So the colors today, we're a mixture of this blue, green, purple, yellow, and red, and what each of these means and how they help us. Each of these help us spiritually. So Blue Ray Clan, Lisa says, we've been talking a little bit about the rays, the blue rays, and the rays themselves. They're the actual idea of rays, and then that comes up to the whole rainbow thing too. But the idea that Dave and I were just talking about the blue ray energy and the idea of the different rays, with respect to, how do you explain that? The rays of light, not light itself, but what a blue ray actually is, the blue ray energy, that goddess, blue ray goddess energy. So that, I guess it's something that if you guys are inspired to do so, to kind of read up on too, is about the blue ray.
Well, I think if you imagine light going through a prism and then separating out, the different rays would represent different parts of the whole.
Yes.
That might have different specialties.
Yes. Oh, what do we got? Somebody's attending. So it was something very significant about
Jody.
that too. Oh, hey, Jody. I feel, see now, as I'm doing this, and Lisa says her favorite blue is her favorite color has always been blue, and any shades of blue. And mine too. They've always been a variation of indigo blue, deep purple, ruby color, not ruby, but what is that? Like blue, purple is blue and red. So all of the in the variations inside in there. And then of course the ruby color, the emerald color, but really the shades of blue, that indigo blue, deep purple, that idea has always been my energy field has always been more comfortable in those realms. And many of us have been guided that, like, for example, you are a blue ray, many of us relate with that idea of the blue ray energy field, which represents that idea of the throat chakra, speaking and singing our truth, the connecting with the third eye, that idea. So the blue ray is often associated with the voice and song. So a lot of times when I'm connecting with that, even that idea, well, of any of the rays, but I automatically, I don't know how else to say this, think in song, think in music. Like, I don't know if that even makes any sense.
The things that I've read about the Blu-ray, typically most of the light workers here would associate mostly with Blu-ray energy.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen that much about people talking about other ray representations.
Yes, no, that's what I was going to mention. You don't really hear people, well, the violet, but they don't call it that. They call it the violet flame. So it's almost like there is no other ray. I don't want to say represented.
Well, so
blue seems to be.
So a lot of people associate themselves with the blue ray, but I think that could be more of a marketing result.
It could be.
There are people that talk a lot about it, and of course, you might feel that you resonate a lot with the things that they talk about, and
yes,
oftentimes they're talking about what they feel themselves, and they associate themselves with the Blu-ray. And I'm not saying that people aren't Blu-ray, but there's probably such a similarity between the different rays.
Yes.
That you could easily feel you fall into that category, and everyone probably resonates somewhat with the Blu-ray ideas. So
that is true.
There hasn't been much discussion about people associating themselves with other rays.
Right, exactly. So,
So-
yeah, so it's
So like you
it
have
is
Saint
interesting.
Germain of the violet
Of the violet,
flame.
right.
So I guess if Saint Germain showed up at the doorstep, he would say, "I'm a violet flame, not a blue ray or a violet ray." So you have that.
That's true. And then the white, the just the white light, the white, you know, the crystal. So anyway, so I just thought that was very interesting that blue seems to be very significant. And even I'm looking around and so I'm like noticing all of a sudden all this blue stuff, but even the unicorn deck is primarily blue. Several of the other, like I'm looking at my crystal deck is blue. Oh, the moon goddess card. I didn't want to forget to pull a moon card for you guys too, because I really, and that's blue too. The cards are blue. You can't see it, but the cards are blue. It's got the moon cycles on the back. So, oh, look, Hunter Moon, abundance. That just happened to be the card. So abundance, you guys, abundance, abundance. And remember that, as Bashar reminded us, abundance is having what you need to do, what you need to do, when you need to do it. That's it. That's abundance. You can have abundance of a lot of things. So that's what abundance is. Being able to do what you need to do when you need to do it.
I'm thinking a little bit about the different ray colors.
Yes.
And something I remember Cryon talking about, and he didn't really associate it specifically with Blu-ray versus other rays, but you have some people who are, you might call just tree huggers, where they like going into the forest and being with nature. And they're not necessarily doing spiritual work, and they're not necessarily, you know, doing crystals and stuff like that, but they just love connecting with nature. They might be more of a ray.
Would you like a green ray? I mean, would you consider that, or
well, maybe even
or more red because it's like the root chakra, grounding,
yeah.
and that kind of idea.
So because that,
as I hold my red cup and he has his red shirt on.
Lighthouse.
And Lighthouse.
So it's just making me think that because they have not followed the same spiritual path, they're not thinking about things as blue rays and red rays and green rays. So nobody's talking about it, but probably they would be in a red ray category. Well,
you know, I just thought of something too. We're talking about blue blood, and when people talk about being true blue, it has to do with the idea of pure blood, like true blue, which that goes back to a whole nother thing, which we'll talk about another time. But so there's that idea of true blue, and something Lisa just said, the movie Avatar, resonate with the blue beings that were in the movie. Yes. And you reminded me, Lisa, when you said that, many of the Hindu gods, they're blue. Where else do we see blue people? Blue all over. Egyptian hieroglyphs, you see blue.
Two or three specific Egyptian hieroglyphs that the gods depicted were blue.
Blue, yes.
I think one or two green.
Yes, that's true. That's true. So it's funny how we see this stuff in all of our artwork, but it kind of sort of goes right over our head. Like we don't really look at it and go, oh wait, these guys are blue. Like they're blue. So it's as if there was a time when that was completely normal. So even Bashar said that about weird is, who said that? Weird is the new normal. Was it Abraham? Somebody said that.
Yeah, I think it was
weird Abraham. Is the new normal. So if you actually look up the definition of weird, you guys look up the definition of weird. Weird is the new normal. Well, weird actually means spiritual, something spiritually related. So anyway, I was just thinking about that.
Runes.
The runes are blue. So the rune symbols, I wanted to show you the little book here that came with it. And on the back, it shows all of the symbols. So if you guys wanted to take a screenshot of that or something so you could see them all. And it says, runes are the letters in a set of related alphabets known as runic alphabets. which were used to write various Germanic languages before the adoption of the Latin alphabet and for specialized purposes thereafter. The rune alphabet, which is a composite of the runic symbols most commonly used in Northern Europe, the names of the runes of the elder, oh, this is the same word, Fulthark. That's the same word that was in what I read earlier that I didn't pronounce right. The names of the runes of the elder Fulthark are speculative recreations of what linguists call, and that's why this is we're light language linguists. This is what we do, studying and exploring language and linguistics and its relationship to our language and linguistics and light languages, called Proto-Germanic, which stems from Proto-Indo-European. The use of runes in daily life, just like as literary inscription, which also been applied to decorations and buildings, in addition to ancient European monks who see it as a tool to communicate with the gods. And look, but now when people are in the meditation, they will grab a rune as an answer. So, and then each rune is on a little page in here. So Lisa says blue avians, blue avian bird tribe. Anyone else ever heard of that? Yes, absolutely. The blue avians, if you guys go back to my early videos, I started one of the very first collective energies I started channeling and getting information from when I was starting to do light language videos in the forest. The birds would start collecting in the trees, literally would follow me, and it started kind of freaked me out, but I started to realize they were messengers and that they were actually hearing the light languages and the singing I was doing, and they were reacting to it. And because it's a high vibrational energy, then I started to hear, we are the blue avians. We are here to assist you. We are here they're here to globally assist us in our ascension process. They're here to, in a way, maintain the balance of the energies of the earth so that we can maintain the highest vibrational possible. So yes, they are assisting us. That's another thing that if you're inspired to, do a little looking up about the blue avians. So if you even Google, or if you search on YouTube on languages of lights, blue avians, you can see a list of some of my earlier videos where information and light codes and channeled information was coming through the blue avians. So they have been helping us for a very long time and assisting us. And as the emissaries of the Light Collective has said as well, we are here because we are excited. It is one of our highest joys and excitements to help other civilizations and planets and such as yourselves who are going through ascension. We learn from you in your ascension process, and we also offer you our perspectives through the light languages, through the light codes, through me, through the light codes, through nature, and the alchemization of the light languages in nature and the songs, that they are communicating this information and sending all this pulsating energy waves down to the earth to help us and guide us through this ascension process. And so the emissaries, the Light Collective, also, Emily is what they said, we can shorten it down to. So that's what they said, you can call us Emily. So they said, we represent all of these because we're excited to help you. We're excited to guide you. So Emily, the emissaries of the Light Collective, are a representation of all realms, beings, vibrations, physical, non-physical colors. Sometimes they'll say, I'm just a mist, like sometimes I'll receive a message and it's not even a physical being. So all of this information is being filtered through our light bodies and through the light languages and through this information and brought to the earth through me and then through you guys by connecting with this and with this energy and the blue avians If you ask them, if you just simply sit outside and ask, you will receive information. Say, I would like to receive information that may help me from the blue avians. And you may receive something about an inspiration, how to help the community. You may receive an inspiration about how to do something better in your house. You may receive inspiration about how to, all of a sudden you're going to figure something out that you couldn't figure out before, or you're going to get an answer about a relationship or whatever. You're going to know though, oh, it was them. And even now I see a bird flying by, and even in my videos, people joke about me because I'll be sitting there speaking light languages and channeling, and all of a sudden I go, oh, there's a bird. You know, it's like, oh, shiny thing. So it's like they're sending me a message. So the blue jays, I've done tons of videos, you guys, about blue jays, bluebirds, the indigo Arcturians. They are like a non-physical, energetic race of beings, if you want to call it, that appear to me as blue, deep blue indigo beings in purpley robes, but they're not really physical, but that's how they appear to me. So that they say that is how I interpret their energy, so that I can maybe talk to them easier. So that's another thing that I'm guided right now to share with you. It was about the indigo Arcturians, and to be able to tap into that dark, deep blue energy, you can ask the indigo Arcturian energy to connect with that energy through that deep blue color as well, and through sapphires and that idea. And you don't even have to own them, just, you know, look them up or think about it, like to connect with that sapphire energy, but that indigo blue energy, and being able to receive information from them on higher levels, even in your dream state, or just being inspired to do something, or maybe even go a different, like drive a different way, I'm hearing, or like, so things that may seem mundane, just follow it, because it's a message. And so when the blue jay comes, stop what you're doing and listen and think, okay, what am I thinking about? What information am I receiving? Or the 111 on the clock, and it could be them sending you a message at that moment. So anyway, so that's one of the things they wanted me to mention. What else do we got here? So I was just looking at some of the notes here. Blue avian. So Lisa says, oh my God, wow, I love birds. I love when I talk to them all the time. Ask anybody here, they'll tell you. Yeah, so Lisa says, yeah, I didn't know you had a connection to them. So she says, Wendy, we've been doing, Liney says, Wendy, we've been doing Old English, Anglo-Saxon words today. Where'd it go? In homeschooling, where it mentioned the Germanics. Oh, the Germanic side of the language. Oh, see? Now, see, if I wanted to mention that, and so that's thank you, Liney. Oh my God. Well, see, what another synchronicity. So yes, I agree, Daniel. Thank goodness for the blue avians. And they asked, oh, hey, Drew Danica, I'm a green girl here in Copenhagen, Denmark. And Liney says she loves the birds too. Daniel says Nikola Tesla fed the birds from his hotel window. I remember reading that. That's weird. I do remember that. Maria, girl, she says, I couldn't make it earlier tonight. She's in the Netherlands. She says, but I'm glad to catch you guys at least for a little while. Maria Beltran, girl, if you can ever get in one of these hangouts, or let's do a hangout together I know you're in the Netherlands, so it's late for you. We can I'd like to do a hangout earlier, or maybe even on a different day, it's fine. But earlier in the day with you, I've been thinking about you, because and I throw this out to all of you. Maria's been sharing some very interesting symbols, sacred symbols, and their meanings that she's been receiving, and she's been sharing them on Facebook. So I want to thank her, one, for following her highest joy and passion and just doing it, because I've known Maria for a while, and I have to say that I was pushing her a little bit to share this stuff out in the world. And so I'm very happy to see that you're doing that. Very happy to see you're following your inspiration and your guidance and sharing it, and sharing the meanings you're receiving from them. So I wanted to share that with everybody. And I wanted to invite you, Maria, to come in these hangouts and share your symbols with people, because this is one of the things I invite you guys to do, just like we did on Wednesdays. share your stuff. Come and share your symbols, your relics, your ancient artifacts, the things that bring inspiration and information. So, okay, I've grabbed 2 of them. All right, so I gotta find them in the books now. So these are the 2 that I grabbed, and sometimes I have to look to make, because they do go in different directions, but I think these can only go in these 2 directions. So
Oh, I get to
you
look.
want to help me
I
look
get
them
to
up?
help.
Thank you. Good. Dave will look these up for me. And they're not in any, you just have, the book is not laid out in any particular order other than you have to look up the little symbol to see and match it. So you have to actually look it up. So while he's doing that, I'm also going to shuffle this. This is the Queen of the Moon Oracle by Stacy DeMarco. I was guided to pull a card from this today. Feeling this, and I'm going to say it, and we're going to talk about it another day, but white fire. So I have been receiving a lot of messages the last couple of days, 24 hours, I guess, about white fire. So it has to do with something that Dave and I talked about last week. But anyway, so the white goddess, this white energy I was feeling as well. So anyway, the moon, Queen of the Moon goddess, this is a new moon. We're in the new phases of the new moon. So I was guided, that's what I was guided to bring to, yeah, Lisa says, yes, I'd be definitely be down for more hangouts. So that's another thing too, that we got. Oh, and
First
here,
one
I'll
is
let you,
this.
here, why don't you go ahead and read it for me, if you don't mind.
Okay, the first one, which is that. Eowaz, El tree. Strength, reliability, dependability, trustworthiness, enlightenment, endurance, defense, protection, the driving force to acquire, providing motivation and a sense of purpose, indicates that you have set your sights on a reasonable target and can achieve your goals. An honest man who can be relied upon.
Well, that's a very good message.
And then the second one.
Oh, it's on the next page?
2 pages.
Oh, 2 pages.
is Sowilo, the sun. Success, goals, achieved, honor. The life force, health, a time when power will be available to you for positive changes in your life. Victory, health, and success.
Oh my God, you guys.
Contact between the higher self and the unconscious. Wholeness, power, elemental force, sword of flame.
Oh my God.
Cleansing fire.
Cleansing fire? Oh my God. See, and it says it cannot be reversed.
So it cannot be reversed.
But it may lie in opposition with meaning this way, but that's not how I pulled them. So well, you guys, both of those together, I think are the perfect message for what's going on right now. So the fact that we've received those is that message to all of us for both of those. Liney, yes, I will definitely pull a card for you. Should I do? I'll do the Queen. Okay. Don't you think that that's fitting for you, the Queen of the Moon Oracle, Miss Queen? And Maria says, thank you, Wendy. And yes, since some time ago, you were asking me to share my drawings, and for sure, I'll join you on a Wednesday. Blessings to you all who present in this wonderful space. Love. So thank you so much, Maria. I am just so excited, and I love the pictures you've been posting of yourself, your beautiful self. You are so beautiful. You really are. I'm loving that you're showing yourself and you're shining, shining, shining. And I was reminded too, I saw something pop up on Facebook. I think it was yesterday or something. Somebody shared a song called Shine On. And I was reminded that we've been talking about shining and that this is our time. This is our time to stop being afraid to shine. And I used to sign all of my emails at work before I retired, Shine On. I completely forgot about it. And in many other letters. So, and thank you, Daniel. You know, I laugh too sometimes, Daniel, because sometimes people will post comments about looking at some really old videos, and you've been there all along. I mean, Daniel's been there from like the beginning, I think, since I started my channel. So, and rooting me on, always sending me comments and support and love and kindness and donations and artwork. I've got his artwork behind me. So thank you guys. This is the thing about abundance. Abundance isn't about money. Money is just one form of abundance. I feel abundant every time I leave one of these hangouts. I feel abundant every time I receive a gift, every time I receive a message from you guys, every time I receive a message from my higher guides or your guides, or I feel abundant when we talk about, when Dave and I leave and talk about the hangout all week long, and we can't, and all the things that we want to do next week. And that's abundance to me. So may these light language blessings and these card readings, these rune messages, these oracle messages for Lainey, for all of you, thank you for being my inspiration for Beltane today, and all of the things that you brought today that I never would have, if you, Lainey, wouldn't have shared your passion in that moment, just by sharing that message to me, all of this information wouldn't have been born. So just by sharing with each other. So these messages, they're for all of us. They're for you individually, each one of you. And Lainey and I met at the very, very beginning of my journey many years ago. And she and I have shared many, many private moments and many, many open hangouts and private sessions. And she's been my support and guide, as I've been, I hope, for her. And she is you are, Lainey, way more psychic than you think you are. Yes, you can. Yes, you can channel him.
I want to talk to him.
So
through you.
And all you have to do is close your eyes and have him talk to you and tell us what he's saying to you. That's all it is. So you already know you can do it. And so she knows Lainey knows what we're talking about. So, and I wanted to reiterate to all of you what we're talking about is you are all channelers. You can all tap into anything and anyone you want at any time. I am not any more special than anybody else. Every single one of us human beings are working on our clairs right now. Every single one of us have the capability of seeing, hearing, feeling, experiencing, smelling, touching, realms, entities, queens, gods, goddesses, other soul family musicians that have passed on. Happens all the time. Talk to Michael Jackson all the time. I talk to Robin Williams all the time. I talk to, who else were we talking about the other day? Talk to him all the time, you guys. Stevie Ray Vaughan, the list goes on. John Denver. Let's see, who else do I talk to? We've been talking a lot about some of these people that have made their transition, that have by following their own passion. David Bowie is another one that comes to mind. Oh my God, Freddie Mercury. So all of these, there are soul families. Of course you would connect to them. Of course we would receive information in songs. Why wouldn't we? So there are soul families. And so we receive messages from them all the time. We're all telepathic. We're all clairvoyant. We're all clairsentient. We're all of the clairs. We're all, boom. This is what's happening right now. It's splitting. The roads are splitting. What do you want to hear? What do you want to hear and see and connect to, you guys? There's nothing you can't connect to. Today's message is growth. And it's the waxing crescent moon, the number 5, which is the center. Today is the center. So the number 5 is the center of our numeric system. It is the turning point for humanity. The number 5 represents humanity, and that is the only number in our numeric system that goes both directions. There is the crescent moon that if you look outside tonight, the crescent moon is happening right now. And look at the image of what we were talking about right now today and last week, I think too, about wrapping our roots around earth. And there, look at the goddess. Look at the beautiful divine goddess in that. And she's holding a watch, you guys, a pocket watch. And she's got the butterfly here. Look at what she's got on her head. growth. We are all going through major growth right now. Every one of us, Liney, you are going through major growth right now. And we're all being told to believe in ourselves way more than we are. And I myself, as all of you are, as a channel, have been told a lot lately that Prince, thank you, Monica. Prince, yes, he's another one. All of us are able to, we're always channeling our higher selves, our higher minds. All of us can tap into anything. All of us can receive information. Every one of us is psychic, and our psychic meaning are able to tap into the frequency of each other's thoughts. And if we do this consciously, we really can change the world. And we're all going through major growth right now, especially because of what's going on. And this is our cocoon time. We're at the peak of it, you guys. We're at the top of the mountain now. We're at the top. Now it's speeding downhill. So what are we going to take from this circumstance? How are we going to grow? Look at how it's the whole earth. The whole earth, you guys. This goddess is wrapped around the entire earth. Right at the new moon. And I'm thinking about my friend Pam, if she watches, and about the moon calendar that she got for me, which I've showed in some of my previous videos from 2019. It's a beautiful moon calendar. I'll see if I can find the link to the woman who makes them. And she does a whole year's worth of moon phases. But the idea is to, as I'm reminded, to get outside and look at the moon at night and literally intend to connect with these other aspects of yourselves. And this is why we do this, why we dress this way. It helps us connect with other aspects of ourselves. This is Sani Crystal, abundance. I wanted to thank my dear sister, star sister Sina, for as a mentoree, and the abundance that I received just being with you. And that when I started my journey with Bashar and found him and found the information, the very first thing I said was, one day I will own the contact crystal. I am a first contact specialist and I want that crystal. And it took years, but abundance. And it was a gift. And so a share, an energetic exchange of energy. So we are all being asked right now, how can we share, how can we exchange energy in ways we never have before? And this is something Dave and I have talked a lot about how would you exchange your gifts and abilities if you didn't have money? And even right now, we're being asked to share our gifts and abilities in ways we have never had before in order to grow and to birth a new earth. So what are we taking from this circumstance right now, and how can we all grow from this? I really love that image in the green, and I see, and all the leaves growing on her. It's just it is really so significant for today and for right now. Is there anything you want to add to that, Dave? I feel like you got. And then Lainey says in blue, yeah. And look at it's blue and green. Most of the cards blue.
Well, she's holding a watch.
Yep, she's holding the time. And we've been talking a lot about time lately, you and I, about how we all are slipping. We're able to see that as you follow your synchronicities and your passion, that time doesn't exist. We're reminded that when you are, this is literal, you guys, this is a fact of physics. When you are following your highest joy, you are not experiencing time passage. Therefore, you do not physically age. Do you understand? You don't physically age when you're following your passion. Oh, time flies when you're having fun. Well, where do you think we got that saying? Literally, when you're in your bliss, you go, oh my God, 3 hours have passed. It feels like 20 minutes. Swear to God, you guys, you have not physically aged. You don't. You actually, as we talk about going the other direction in age, the more we follow our highest joy and excitement, you feel it in people's energy, in their faces. You see it. That doesn't mean that they're not physically aged, but their spirit is young. And we say, I want to be like that. I want to feel like that. I want to exhibit that energy. When you do that, you're young. You don't physically age. Really, you guys, you don't. Number 14, focus. Equals number 5.
So I do want to say something. First of all, the moon right there.
Yes.
Is exactly what we saw the other night.
Yes.
Exactly.
Exactly.
But the idea of the space between the words.
Yes.
And the idea that everything is light and the space between the words is a time for pause that allows the most light through, which is the most conducive to growth.
See? And he thinks he can't read cards. And there we go, guys, the butterfly. And number 5 again, the transformation of humanity. The number 5, the center. Today means center, but look at the butterfly right at the third eye. Corona. Look, you guys, it's a corona. Corona means crown. Corona means halo. Halo. Why do you think kings and queens wear crowns? Why do you think we see angels as halos? Corona means halo. This is the time for all of us.
And actually, one of the images that we saw of an ancient painting of the dance of the what's it called? Valdores, the Maya version of the pole dance thing. There was somebody who maybe was a chief or priestess or something. It was tiny, sitting in a chair with a halo around them.
That's right.
Watching.
It was weird. It was in the corner of the painting, and they were just observing the May Day celebration, but it was a being, you guys, and Dave's like, look, is that, they literally had the halos around their head as if they were an angel watching the May Day celebration. I didn't even notice it. I have to find that. Maybe I can find it and post it for you guys so you can see what we're talking about. It was the weirdest thing. It was like, we didn't even notice it right away.
And it was, it was either Aztec or Maya or something.
Yes, it was.
But the people in the painting didn't look like your typical Aztec people. They looked like,
they didn't,
almost angelic.
Yes,
dress
it was very interesting.
The typical halo around the head, except it was a big round circle around the back of them. It was very interesting. But just thinking about being this time of year and the halo coronal circle around the outside.
Well, guys, if you've been watching this for a little while, I don't always read what the book says, but right now for this number 5, because we're really concentrating in this card right now on number 5, and I'll just show you the picture really quick, you guys, so you can see it. Growth. Reject stagnancy. To get unstuck, take action. The choice to grow should be made. Expect growing pains when making huge changes in your life. Change is a natural part of life and cannot be pushed against forever. Change should have aim and purpose. Be courageous, you will blossom. And today's the Festival of Flowers. Incense. So one of the things that Dave, I wanted him to remind me about today was, if you're so inspired, 1,000 flowers incense. Now today is the Festival of Flowers, the Festival of Fire, the flower goddess, and all that, fertility. And I was reminded today, as I was lighting our incense this morning, 1,000 flowers. There's actually an incense called 1,000 Flowers. And I never even knew it existed until I met Dave, and he would burn it before we even met. And then and then when I came here, I smelled it, and it's just amazing. So, and then to remind everybody too, lilac and frankincense are also associated with May Day and the month of May. So those ideas as well, burning the frankincense. And so that was just very interesting how that was also a big synchronicity. Be courageous, you will blossom. Oh my gosh, I don't believe this. Think of a willow tree. We were just talking about willows and willa. helichrysing.
Sandy Banks.
That's, oh my gosh. Okay. That's a whole nother. Sandy is I guess a hybrid child who came to us the other day, which I told you, oh, and the yellow flowers. So you guys last week, I wanted to give you guys thumbs up too. For those of you who sent me information, Maria sent me information about yellow flowers and connecting with Sandy, the hybrid child, who said, if you want to connect with me. And she told me, you guys, with spring coming, she said, if you want to connect with her, dandelion flowers and dandelion tea, yellow flowers, and how they, and then how, you know, how they, at the end, when they're done, you can blow the wishes. So she said, yellow flowers, if you use dandelions too, and dandelion tea, Sandy said, to connect with her. And she said, the reason she calls herself Sandy is because that's the color of her hair, which is kind of the color of my hair. And she said, and because she loves the sand and the beach. So that's why she named herself Sandy. So anyway, that was what that was all about. Think of a willow tree. We were talking about willow and Willa helichrysing. Willa is a character. She is a being who is 700 years down line from us in our future. We are her ancestors. Daryl Anka channels her through Bashar. He wrote a book called Shards of the Shattered Mirror, I believe it's called. I have the book. I don't have it with me right now, but I have the book, and he talks about Willa's story. And she talks about I'm getting a Tony in my ear right now, you guys.
303.
And it's 303.
No, now 304.
And Willa talks about 33 and the 33rd parallel. But Willa she teaches us about the 5 levels of mastery. The first level of mastery is talking to nature. So she presents herself as a willow tree. And she said we can call her Willa or Willow. So if you guys have been watching me for a little while, my videos, I have videos of willow trees and connecting to her energy and that idea. Think of a willow tree. I choose growth. Willows often grow on the sandy banks of highly shiftable and changeable rivers. Yet they reach huge sizes, successfully growing and holding fast in an unpredictable habit. And I also have a little willow. It's called a what's it called? It's called a dragon willow that Dave bought for me. And that's growing right. And it's an indoor willow tree. And it's called I'm almost positive it's called a dragon willow. How do they do this? When you see a young willow on the banks for a long while, it looks like a feeble stick. It may have a few branches and leaves, but at first the trunk will be fine and flexible rather than robust. What we don't see immediately is the root base. The willow spends a lot of time establishing a veritable root city under the surface. These roots are long and strong and very numerous, finding their way into many nooks and crannies, holding onto rocks and other established tree roots and anything that can help with their stability. And that's how I feel about all of us right now. These roots go off in all directions, thus securing their position just in case the earth begins to shift. Well, there we go. We're holding on to each other, wrapping around each other like roots to hold each other up as we're all establishing these new roots to go off in new directions as this earth begins to shift. That's what I'm feeling. Then and only then, once these roots networks are established well enough, does the willow put its energy into further growth. So we're all being asked right now to root with each other, establish growth with each other as we establish the birth of this new earth. And we're creating the structure and the support system together as root systems together, yet being flexible like the willow tree and yet going in every direction. And then the trunk begins to thicken and widen and harden and travel upwards into the sky, upward to the sky. However, as they grow, the branches have little of the trunk's support thickness. They have instead the instruction that they must be flexible. This is the message to all of us right now, all of us, flexible. We must be flexible. Flexible means they can turn with the sun and survive pushing winds, punishing winds that might threaten to topple the rest of the tree. All of this growth is done with purpose and divine strategy. And I will say to you guys, everywhere I've lived, everywhere my whole life, I've had willow trees everywhere. By accident, I've had willow trees everywhere. My initials are WLW, Wendy Lynn Wolf. WLW, Willow told me, why do you think those are your initials? Because you are a representation of this idea as well, Willow. And fill in the vowels, which is something that Dave and I talked about the white space and vowels in Hebrew language, but filling in the blanks, filling in the vowels, WLW, Willow. So that was part of that message for me as well, that I'm connected to that idea and the willow tree and being flexible. All of this, the waxing lunar cycle calls for growth, but not growth without aim or purpose. So right now we're being asked for growth, but not without aim or purpose. We are being asked right now to grow with aim and purpose. When we understand our current position, accept it. When we understand our current position, accept it, and decide to change, we will naturally grow as people. We might experience some growing pains. After all, transformation of any kind, and there's the transformation, you guys, the butterfly. Number 5 again, focus, not without focus. The butterfly, transformation. Remember the butterfly we talked about last week with the butterfly wings. What? And a butterfly just flew by Dave. Okay. When we might experience some growing pains. After all, transformation of any kind is rarely completely easy and trouble-free. Having a strong intention of what the results of our growth will be helps with gaining the courage and resilience to move forward with our growth and into eventual blossoming of our true self. Now this says the companion stone or metal, and I'm not sure what this is, you guys. Charoite? C-H-A-R-O-I-T-E. Companion stone or metal, charoite. So I'm gonna have to look into that. So if you guys want to look into that, charoite. So, well, I think that's a great, perfect message for all of us today. For you, Liney, thank you for sparking this rebirth, growth, inspirational message today. And I wanted to see too, I wanted to thank everybody out there. I was looking at the messages out there. So Temple says, hi, I was just writing my friend regarding a note that came with an order for my friend's dandelion soap, which she was making yesterday. Oh my God. Lisa says, I'm looking at my yard and connecting with the dandelions. Yes, Lisa. Dandelions are so amazing and healing. Yes, they are. And you guys, I love dandelion tea. I drink it all the time. I do. And I've done videos, you guys, about dandelion tea.
Which reminds me,
yes,
I was just sitting a moment ago.
Yes.
That because you are a light language specialist,
yes,
that you might want to take a moment, for all of you still here watching, you
yes,
get a little secret about using light language to infuse your teas
yes,
and your sprays.
Thank you.
And adding the intention of the light language to it to
thank you. Thank you for that reminder.
Add whatever little magic you want to add to it.
I'm glad that you reminded me of that, because that is something that I've done on my channel as well. I've shared this a little bit in previous videos of mine. And that is something that I do regularly, and I have for many years, and have shared that when I make my sun tea, for example, in a sun tea jar. I let the water sit outside, and then the new moon and the full moon are great times to do this too, you guys. But the idea is the water that I make, that I shared with you guys about last week, about making my own sprays for my body and the air in the room and stuff, is infusing light languages into the water and into the essences of the water. And then I actually started using started solar water, meaning taking the water, sitting it outside and you can use clear bottles, colored bottles. The idea too behind the colored bottles, you guys, is to infuse the water. Say if you use a blue bottle, purple bottle, green bottle, etc., infusing that color energy into the water, and then using that water as an infusion for your body sprays, including with your essential oils, putting light languages into the essences of the water itself changes it. So as you guys listen to these light language videos on my channel, as you listen to these light language activations that we share on Fridays, those of you who speak light languages, hand sign, sorry, I would need two hands, hand signing light languages, singing, toning, drawing symbols, Maria. I use my symbols on the bottles as well. These are all things. Temple Beautiful, Alicia, she knows all about this too. So we talk about this stuff. And this is something else that we talk about in my videos. And that Dave was reminding that we make our sun tea outside. When you're making your tea, your water, your coffee, whatever your drink of choice, and you set it outside, you're infusing it with light codes of the sun and the moon. And one of the things I used to share with you guys is when I would make my sun tea, I would leave it out in the sun all day. And then if it was a new moon or a full moon, for example, I would intentionally embed the essence of the new moon energies, the full moon energies, or Epsilon, Epiphany, and Eclipse, the oversoul energy of Asasani, Bashar's planet, also has within it the star code light codes of Sirius, the star system Sirius. So I would use that as my permission slip from the moonlight, because Bashar said they emit this energy from Sirius through our moonlight and the moon is a whole nother thing we're going to talk about in other videos, and its placement here after Atlantis. I'm just going to plant that seed. So that idea of putting the moonlight on the new moon intentions, or your full moon moonlight, also in your sun tea, your drinks, your water, your solar water, letting it sit out during the full moon, the new moon, even putting non-water soluble crystals in the water. Oh, that's a whole nother level of infusing that information and light codes and the light languages that we speak, and reminding everybody too that when we're speaking light languages and listening to light languages, if you could see it, there's color. There's color and energy. The essence, we were talking about colors today and the rainbow. It's all about that too. It's about infusing the colors into the water and understanding that it changes the molecular and atomic structure of our bodies, of our belief systems, of our light bodies. You can do all of this yourself. You can use me as a permission slip if you want, and use my languages, use my videos. We have talked about this before, but you guys can do this yourselves. And if you want to play a light language video of mine to your water, go ahead. That's part of what this is all about. It's about using the information and the light codes and the data and bringing it and embedding it into the water. So thank you for that reminder, because with springtime coming and summertime coming in the Northern Hemisphere, tons of us are making sun tea outside. Basically, sun tea, if you're not familiar with it, guys, is very simple. You drop your tea bags into the water, let it sit out in the sun, and let the sun do the brewing. Start with cold water though, cold water. Whatever water you want, start with whatever water you want. Water is a big deal for Dave and I. We live in Florida. Water is a big deal in Florida, but there's something to be said about water sources, where the water comes from, the source of the water that he and I drink. Iceland, one of the main places. Cryon talks about Iceland, and he talks about the glaciers. This is glacier water. So it's something that even instinctively, Dave probably did, or maybe you didn't, but instinctively just started buying Iceland water from the glaciers because he thought, wow, that's probably a good idea. Only to find out recently, or whatever since that time, Cryon talking about Iceland and water and the melting, the magic and the water in Iceland. So I'm just going to throw that out there too, because I was guided to share that with you right now. So all of this has to do with all of this, and you guys can do all of this yourselves. So the idea is to Move into the idea that you need somebody else to be the bridge for you, that you need somebody else to talk to God, to talk to source, to talk to the hybrid children, to talk to your angels, to talk to your higher self. No, you don't. You can use healers as permission slips and crystals and relics and ancestors, and you can use all of that for permission to do it, but you're still doing it. You're the one doing it. So this is about taking it to the next level and empowering each other for growth. Establishing your own identity, your own roots, your own structure, and stop relying on other people for your happiness and for the belief that you need other people to do any of this, because you don't. That's what a teacher teaches you, is how to teach yourself how to do it, not to rely on the teacher forever. This is not what this is about. So it's about empowering each other. This is why we do this on Fridays, to empower the God and Goddess within us, to stop being victims but victors, to see ourselves as the God and Goddesses, as Wonder Woman, as the Time Lords, as the who else do we want to talk about? Thor and Superman and all of the, and we even talked about that before, about Batman and Robin, how they didn't have any powers. Not really, except for intention to do goodness.
Caped Crusaders.
The Caped Crusaders. So this is what we all are. We're the Caped Crusaders. We're wearing our cape, our superhero capes right now, you guys. That's the only reason why we started doing this dress up stuff, is to encourage you guys to honor your higher selves, to be fun, to be light, to give yourself permission to have fun, to wear fun things. And I'm telling you, it changes your vibration. You become that energy. You become okay with being in that energy. That is why we do this. This is why we encourage you to be fun, to wear this fun stuff, to look funny. Who cares, right? So what? It's about becoming who you are in your everyday life. And again, we do this stuff all the time. It's not just something we say for Fridays. We embody this stuff all the time. We look at it, we honor it. It's on our altar, burning the incense. We were talking about that, about the 1,000 flowers and the frankincense, frankincense and myrrh, a big deal. Oh my God, how could I forget? The last thing I wanted to mention was the thing we discovered about, oh my gosh, the incense burn. So we started looking up the name of the thing that they use. Oh, thurible. The thing that they use to burn incense, that's on a chain that they use.
Thurible. I think it's thurible.
Yes.
Like in churches.
And stuff.
Synagogues.
For the incense to create the smoke. And what we found out was this. Oh my God. The reason why our medieval ancestors started using this in churches and in religious ceremony is because it actually purifies the air. So when people would congregate in those times when there was no sanitation, there was no way to, they didn't even understand what germs were. We were talking about this. They didn't even understand what a germ was. They had no understanding of microbiology at that time, none. Yet they inherently understood when you burn sage, literally sage, sweetgrass, incense, frankincense, and myrrh specifically, you guys, it purifies the air. And the reason they did it was because it was the way to minimize contagions, specifically for minimizing contagions in a close-knit energy area. That's why they burned incense.
So they may not have known that that's why they were doing it.
But they did it for purification.
They did it for purification, and they might have been thinking spiritual.
And actually it says in the thing that we read that once they understood it.
But now we know that in addition to the spiritual purification and the benefits that you have spiritually and energetically, that there's also a physical result.
It actually decontaminates the air. So you guys, the one thing I wanted to share about this was so important before we left too, is because Dave and I burn incense all the time. Now, the funny thing about this is I even tease him because we have so much incense. I mean, he had all this before I even got here, but it has bought a lot more since. But the weird thing is we were talking about, he always says that you can never have too much incense or candles or pillows. And so all of a sudden we realized instinctively, we have been burning incense in every room. And I started burning it on the front porch. We burn it on the back porch every morning. I started to receive the download as we were getting this information yesterday or today, the day before, that the reason why we instinctively were burning incense is because we didn't even realize, well, I knew about sage and sweetgrass and stuff, but I didn't realize about the incense itself and the frankincense and myrrh, which I burn every morning at the altar pretty much, that and saffron and some others. But I realized, my guide said to me, the reason you were guided to do it is because you already knew this. You knew it was a decontaminant, and you knew it killed bacteria, and so then they said to me, specifically the two of us, when we go out into the world, when we do have to go to the store, like say to the grocery store, that's really the only place we've gone, is the grocery store. Because we burn incense, they literally showed me, you guys, my guides showed me like a halo. They showed me I don't want to say bubble, but they showed me how around each of us, Dave and I, because we burn incense, we are literally a walking anti-contagion. Burn incense in your guys' burn incense in your house. We also burn beeswax candles here, but the incense itself is a very important thing, because I am no medical expert. Please, you guys, do not quote me on this. I'm just telling you what my guides told me. When we walk out into the world, when we're burning the stuff in our homes like that, we become an anti-contagion. We are literally walking around in a anti-contagious state. So again, I am no medical expert. Please do not, I cannot substantiate this microbiologically, but I can tell you this is what my guides showed me and told me, and they showed me a visible like energy around us because of it. So I really wanted to share that, because I thought, what perfect better time for us to be practicing that than now, under these perfect circumstances. And don't relegate it to just inside the house. Like I said, I do the front porch, the back porch, as many rooms as possible. And within, of course, your belief systems, of your ability to breathe, if you're in a small, contained area, small apartment, a small area, of course, be wise about it. Don't smoke up your house and you can't breathe. That's not what this is about. But be mindful of it and use this as a tool. So I just wanted to share that. I know we're getting long on time, but I just wanted to really share this stuff with you guys and see if there was any other information. We were talking about, she said wine too. Temple Beautiful was talking about how dandelions are so healing. And Lisa, oh my God, willow trees for her too, in her mind. She says, oh, this is so weird. And then Temple says, you can make everything from wine to salves to salads. And that is true. And then Monica says, funny, there's a whole bunch of dandelions in our neighbor's yard, and a neighbor that I haven't had a desire to reach out to. So there you go. There is a sign that your higher self is telling you, you already answered your own question. There you go. Go say hello. And you guys, if you can avoid it, don't use that stuff that kills your dandelions in your yard. If you can stand it, just let them grow. Okay, just let them grow. The bees need them. They love them. They're part of the activation process for all of us. The color yellow is our solar plexus chakra, like with the sun. They're the first things that we see in the springtime. They're little sunshine. They look like little suns. They send our wishes. So the bees need them for propagating the plants and making, our wonderful honey and our beeswax candles and our honeycombs. So please encourage the growth of dandelions. Please don't kill them if you can avoid it. It's really, really important. And if you can drink the tea, I'm telling you guys, it makes a difference. It does. I feel great. As a matter of fact, I'm probably going to have some dandelion tea today, just because I'm talking about it. And use it as your intention to, and even use solar water as your inspiration to use for your coffee and your tea if you're feeling guided to it. So, and Monica, yeah, you guys hook up with each other too. Temple Beautiful. I don't know, Alicia, I probably won't let you put the link to your website, but you guys look up Temple Beautiful and LBCC Historical. She's got great products that she makes everything. herself. As a matter of fact, I was laughing the other day, or yesterday, I think it was, Alicia Temple Beautiful posted a picture of her beeswax, her heated beeswax. So for her stuff. So I just wanted to throw that out there. So, she says, Temple Beautiful says, if I remember right, they were brought to the New World by the Dutch as medicine and food because they were so amazing. Oh, the dandelion. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And Florentine says, I had to teach myself as my currency is so devalued. Thought it was devastating, but it has served me well. So isn't this interesting how we're all learning more and more about ourselves? And so use these, you guys, use these tools to tap into this energy, to tap into your higher selves, to tap into your solar plexus, that fire within you, that white fire within you, and use these light languages to solidify and crystallize this information that you receive week by week in my videos. If any of this stuff helps you, I want to thank all of you for watching my videos and commenting on them. So many of you have been commenting on older ones too that remind me that everything is now. If the information serves you now, it's for you now. It doesn't matter how old the information is. Look at all the old information we're sharing now, ancient information. These are the secrets of the universe that we're all sharing with each other to help each other unlock the beauty and the goddess and God within us. So I thank all of you once again for participating and sharing, and all of you being in the room. I don't see any, I wanted to really quick offer the opportunity to you guys in the room here. Did you guys want to say anything? I know we haven't opened it up for participation today, so I just want to see if you guys wanted to say anything before we go off live. And I want to thank you for being in the room with us today. It's always wonderful to see you, Beverly and Jody, and just Florentine. Thank you so much for all of the inspiration you guys have all given me. And I love you all so much. And thanks, Jody, for all of your one-on-one back and forth. And you too, Florentine, you guys are all of you. And you're all just so very special to me and to Dave. And you warm our worlds and warm our hearts and make us every day that we wonder why we're doing this crazy stuff. You remind us why and remind us why it's so important to you. So thank you. So if you guys want to unmute and just say something, that's fine. And then we'll close out after this and give our blessings. And you don't have to, just want to give you the opportunity since you are here participating. Love you. Look at that big smile on you, Beverly. Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. I just wanted to share with all the butterflies and the bumblebees and the two birds with the blue heads. And I had a cardinal and a robin sitting out here.
Yay!
And I can't remember what you were saying, but at one point the sun started brightly shining down on me. And I'm like, okay, I got the message.
So you guys look up cardinal, animal, totem, and spirit guides. Look up, what was the other one, Jody?
A bumblebee.
The bumblebee is another one.
A white butterfly, a monarch butterfly. And I don't know what this black bird was with the blue head. I see them, but I don't know what they are.
We've been talking about that too, about the Crow Collective, the ravens, there's something about that idea lately, you guys, because they're very ancient wisdom energy. So all of the things that Jody just said are guides for us to look up as spirit guides because they've got messages for us. So you got any
dandelions.
And dandelions. Hey, you got any light language? Have your light languages come through yet at all, Jody?
I tried that with my granddaughter yesterday, and I just let something flow out, and she just looked at me. She said, "What's that supposed to mean?" And I said, "I don't know." We both laughed, and then she said, "Grandma, you're doing it wrong."
I don't think you can do it wrong, but I don't know.
We're ready to listen if you want to try again.
Anytime you want to try.
I think what I'm doing is I'm trying to hear something before I say it, and I think that's what's throwing me off.
It is, because just this is what we do is we try. If we think about it, even I'll start to say something and Dave will say to me, "You're thinking too hard, stop it."
Yes, I got to get out of my head.
Yep, get out of your head, let it through. Because he'll ask me a question and he'll be like, "No, you're not answering from your instinct, you're answering from your head. Don't do that."
Oh.
Look at her. Oh.
That's going to take some practice.
Now that's just a belief. That's just a belief.
Okay.
See you guys, that's it. I'm done being nice. That's just a belief, damn it. Cut it out.
Yeah, I don't want it to be hard for you.
We
I want it to
don't.
be easy.
I don't want it to be hard either.
So this is what we want to say today. I want this to be easy for me. Whatever it is that you guys want to do, ease and grace. Dave has said to me I'm not kidding you guys, from the day I met him, ease and grace. We're going to do this with ease and grace, ease and grace. And I'm telling you, it worked. Oh, there's a tone in my ear again. Ease and grace. It's okay. We won't put any pressure on you, but one of these days you're going to raise your hand and all I want to do is or singing, toning. You guys, the other thing is sometimes we have to let it out. One of the things I do in light language activations with people who want to do this is start with humming or toning or just humming a song. The idea is to open up your throat chakra so you let it out. So even if it's just what we learned as kids, what did we learn the scale? Do, re, mi, fa. So even just doing that, it activates that, it gets stuck in here. So the blue color, meditating on blue, having blue things around you, having a blue crystal, using any of the blue crystals, all of this housing Reiki, and Jody's really good about the crystal thing and using the crystals with the Reiki energy so we can use it on ourselves. We forget. I even tell Dave that I forget all the time. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot. I speak light languages. I can do things with them. I'm like, oh yeah. I even forget. I'm like, I'm a human and I forget to use my own tools, you know? So we think we can't use them on ourselves, you know? It's like, so put the intention out there, you guys. I want to do this thing. I want this thing to be in ease and grace for me, whatever it is. And let that be your guiding light. So Niva Soto, is there anything else, Jode? Yeah, vasami shabashanete elakia. I just want to see if there's anything else you wanted to share. Yeah. And you tell you also Beverly's outside. I see her outside. I see her trees and her sunshine, and it's May Day and it's getting late where she's at. Beverly's in the UK, so it's getting a little late for her up there. Is it nearly sunset for you yet?
Yeah, it's well, we're getting to nearly the longest day in June. So you can't see. There's my, can you see my garden?
Oh yes, I can see her. Yep, we can see behind you. Oh, look at how beautiful. Oh, look how pretty.
It's trying to get the light. So I've made
a
little area.
Is that your garden? Yeah. Oh, it's so pretty.
Yeah, I started it 2 years ago, and I just made a little area. Its lighting's not very good. Oh, there, look, you can see. But I've gone for, I love the aether trees, the Japanese trees. The colours of the trees are absolutely marvellous. I just sit in my little garden and I just love it. So much energy.
Well, thank you for sharing that. And I wanted to say hi too if our friend Stephanie ends up watching, because she and her cousin Christy have been starting their own little gardening and stuff. And she's starting this little plot there in her yard. And so I want to encourage everybody too, that even if it's only a plant, that you can have a plant indoors or a plant outside, bringing flowers into your home, bringing plants into your home, being out in the garden, starting a little plot of a garden outside if you can. And it is, as Beverly said, there's this magic about it. You're connecting with nature. There's this energy. You're connecting with the elementals, the elements.
Yeah.
And the soil is sentient. It has feeling. It has meaning. It has information in it.
I like watching the clouds as well.
And the clouds, how many people we are cloud watchers, and how many people look at clouds and post pictures of clouds, and there's information in clouds, there's water in clouds, there's water. It's a cloud collective. It's the water collective. And I'm reminded too about the water energy is blue. So when we're around water, when we're looking at the sky, it's blue energy. It opens up our throat chakra and helps us sing our song, helps us sing our truth. Singing with the birds, humming, just listening to, just humming a tune. All of this helps us open this up. Lainey even said in the chat, her light language usually comes out when she stretches and yawns. And it's funny because when we're yawning, we need oxygen. And so when we sing and when we speak, we need breath, right? So part of yawning is that idea of receiving oxygen. And so a lot of times, even yawning is a way, like I'm reminded of dogs. Yawning, if people understand dog language and body language, yawning is a dog's way of communicating a lot of things. It communicates stress. It communicates wanting to talk to us. Ranger yawns like when he gets excited, when he wants to eat, when he wants to go outside, when he wants to say something to me. So he yawns. It's a communication of some form. It expels and receives oxygen. So I guess that's not all that uncommon. Nisa vasono veshete ela kese vasono veshorma ela kiasa se vasono bila vasono be akiasa no se vasono be kia potora veshe inayu maria tabaki ama maya tabe ama amaniama doko ya palea tora veshe sambikila sa supotore vashana dea evaya maya va itama sopa sa she vasono tabe kelama dia bokoma she tavisa se. That's why that's why our natural self and nature is the same word. When we're acting naturally, it means we're being like nature. We're being allowed to grow. Allowed to grow wildly, to bloom where we're planted, to allow the seeds. There's show me, each of us is a seed of light that's literally planting seeds of light all over the globe. Wherever all of you are, you're planting seeds of light wherever you're going. This is what we're doing for each other. Each and every one of you is a language of light. You are a walking language of the light. And there's so much more I want to share with this, but we'll be sharing more and more of this in future videos, other videos. So please do visit my website, Languages of Lights, that's an S on both, .com, and get on the list, the email list and the subscription list so that we can start gathering. There's so much information I want to share. There aren't enough hours in the day to share it. So Dave and I together are coming up with a place to put content, a bunch more content besides just on YouTube, that's very specific, very special. So keep an eye out for stuff like that, things that we'll be sharing in more stuff on the website, more events. I've been asking a lot of you privately, as you send me private messages, about doing videos aside from Fridays, time permitting, about light languages, about sharing your symbols, your writings, your light, bringing children on, talking about where is all this leading? Where are we? Once we get over the peak, where are we all going to go with all of this? What are we going to do with all of this? How much more can I share of the things that I've been wanting to share with you for 6, 7, 8, 10 years? I just haven't had the opportunity to share and to put it all in one place where you guys can go one-stop shop, kind of find it all in one spot. So that's the idea behind all of that, and to have a place to gather so that all of you, as we get to know each other and you guys get to know each other, we have a place to gather together. That's what this has been all about from the very beginning. From my light language channel has been about gathering the light and planting seeds of light all over the world. And all of you are a gathering of these lights, and each one of you, whether you watch this in its duration or for a few minutes, whether you're speaking light languages, with setting your intentions, burning your incense, sharing this information, sharing these videos, it's all about seeds of light. You all are seeds of light. So that's what this is about. Allow yourselves this time globally to, I'm showing seeds in the dark. You've got to plant seeds under the soil. You've got to. The heat of the sun, the water will penetrate it, but they've got to have the shadow time, the darkness time in order to sprout, in order to bloom. That's what's happening with all of us right now. So thank you all for blooming with us. Thank you for allowing us to bloom with you. I'm looking even at my feathered deck. So we will be bringing to you more videos and a cup of inspiration videos, above more readings, channeled information, things that come to us that we don't get a chance to share with you guys on Friday because there just isn't enough time. So all of these things that we want to bring to you, I want to bring to you, things that help us all bring out the God and Goddess within us. So don't be afraid to come in here with in these rooms, share who you are, share your stuff, your relics, your cards, your light languages, your blessings, your experiences. That's what this is for. So is there anything else you'd like to share?
Happy Goddess Friday
Thank you.
to everyone.
Yes, okay. Mia savoshono te via halase samitovia namilako mayate. Mishania namialo kupeata riki samasadi galagoya. Le shade na te taya maya. Avashono biando ki taya somasovaya shono to viala ke semasola ye. Mishahia nania to alia sanania rokuye. Levashomote, la hama lai sevasoye. Levasona te vergoya potuka balese. Sebashona tevelo simatoya kaliano malaki se. Idavishono se alakiano malaya sanatia. Allow these messages and codes and light language activation transmissions to continue to unlock Biba Somate, more and more of all that you are, the beautiful, colorful spectrum and crystalline being that you all are.
So you may blossom.
So you may blossom. Miavosa tiakea. Ishomiseva sonosebatori kiambosoveshe iadiase. You are a kaleidoscope, ever changing every moment. Basovesonopelandoya ilamoyataveshe devasonanda, be depending on your perspective. Ianate atayafasho ibayotobekiaboa isaveso, from the broad to the finite. Ibasobe shote ikayasomote. You are the lotus blossom. Allow yourselves this quiet period to allow your seed to sprout within the darkness. Always toward the light, always toward the light. Focus always toward the light. The light within you illuminates the light within me, and the light within me illuminates the light within you. And together we illuminate brighter the light of all that is. The sun, the passion within you, your light, shine, shine, shine. You are a star. Diavashe, shine. Nahaliato, miatoya. Mahala, mahala, mahala. Namaste. I love you guys. Yasha. So I think that's it for today. Nyakosha. I love you guys. Thank you for being with us. Nyakia. I love you.
Stop the YouTube.
Did you?
I do not.
Oh, okay. I'll stop the YouTube. Yeah, gotcha. Bye, everyone.